So, a lot of business owners that I speak to are missing a big hole in their funnel. And today I want to talk a little bit about that and how my ad ecosystem actually plugs the holes in that funnel. So, first up, let's pretend that we've got our ads running, right? Now, you might have several ads running, you might only have one or two. But either which way, each one of these boxes represents an ad, okay? And if you're sending people directly to a web page, well, you've got a few things going on. Okay. Number one, there's generally speaking a bounce rate. So, a bounce rate is basically somebody goes to the page and they leave within a few seconds. Now, that can happen for a number of reasons. You never really know why it happens, but it could be a technical issue. It could be a loading problem, like it just takes too long to load, but it does eventually load. It could be that the person clicked out of curiosity and was just not interested. It could be that they saw something unexpected on the page and then they left. But generally speaking, a bounce rate when you're sending cold traffic to a page is generally between 60 and 80%. So if you spend money to send 100 people to a page, you're only getting about 20 people at the end of the day. Okay? So you really need to look at what your costs are for getting that 100 people, or rather not $100, 100 people to the page, because if 80% of the people don't get there, well, then 20% land. And then how many people actually opt in and take action and move forward, right? It might take you, let's say, 500 people to get 100 people to actually load the page. It might take 100 people to get one person through to the next stage in your pipeline, right? So it's important to understand that we are using traffic to actually push people through our funnel. And when you do it this way, just going to redraw it over here. When we do it this way, we end up with holes in the funnel, right? So this could be your VSL or whatever. Okay, this is your home page or your landing page. So not only are you losing these people in between the clicks, but you're paying for it. And what you're doing is you're actually creating a black hole in between each step of your funnel, right? Because between the home page and the video sales letter, well, you might only get like a 5% opt-in or a 10% opt-in at that. So then, you lose another couple people, and then that's how you end up with like 1 to 5 people watching the VSL. And then if you have steps after that, it dwindles. It just goes down to like basically nothing. So you have to push so much volume of people to the page just to get people to go deeper and deeper into your pipeline. And with each of these, you're losing people. And the problem with this is obviously you're paying for it, but you don't have a mechanism of getting those people back, right? So you already spent the money, but you don't have a mechanism in place to actually get those people back. So what I do differently, and what seems to work really well, first of all, but also it just changes the game slightly, is I do things a little differently. I will warm people up as much as I can on the platform with my ads. And instead of sending them off somewhere else, I continue to warm them up to my offers. Okay. Now, it doesn't really matter how many ads you're running. You could be running this with 3 ads. You could do it with technically 2. Okay. But the idea here is that we're keeping people on the platform. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. I talk about it all the time. There's that Google study. 7 hours of watch time before people move forward with your offer. They want to build trust, certainty, right? They want to know everything about what it is that they're getting out of it. If you do coaching, what's the end result? What does success actually look like for those people? You have to put your arms around what that looks like. So for me, my people, they might be getting by with like a 2 to 3x ROAS, but the people that end up succeeding are getting more than that. That could be anywhere from 3 to 10x ROAS. Okay, so they know that they're doing something right when they're able to increase their return on their ad spend. What's nice about this system is instead of sending people off the platform, we're getting content back in front of them, basically on a conveyor belt. Okay, we are moving people towards a buying decision. So you have your non-believers, your the people that are not going to buy today, and we're moving them across to where they are ready to buy. We're gathering our 7 hours of content. Then, and only then, are we sending people to a page. Okay? And what's cool about this, so let's say you had an ad here that actually sends people to your website. Well, first of all, they're going to have a lot more intent behind them proceeding, right? They know about you. They know about your offer. They're highly interested. They've already technically, through data, raised their hand that they're interested. So now when you send them to the page, they might be looking at the pricing. They might be looking at what the deal is. But when they leave that site, guess what? They're still captured on the platform. So we're able to still get back in front of them. So our content will continue to show up for them over and over and over again, as long as they're showing interest in what we have to offer. So it's a really great way, and I wish I didn't delete the first picture there. It's a great way to catch these people, because if we send people to a website, from our ad, well, at this point, because they've already been retargeted, let's say they leave the site, well, guess what? They end up back on the conveyor belt of content. And they're going to continue to see us over time. Results, testimonials, proof, certainty. Our solution is the solution. And I think a lot of people miss that point when they're creating their ads, because they think they need to just have a button on there and just hard sell. That's the version of hard selling that doesn't work all that well. Again, you're paying for a massive amount of traffic. If you put the same amount of money into views, instead of pushing them to the site, and you just tried to get those people to watch your stuff, and you sent them to your conveyor belt, where you just kept posting interesting stuff, helpful stuff, help them actually solve a problem, your conversion rate goes up. Your costs per lead goes down. And the people that actually show up already know all about you. And it's a really great way to get away from sales calls too, because there's not much to talk about on the sales call anymore. They already have all the information. All they need to do is actually press a button to move forward. Anyway, if you guys found this helpful, let me know. If you have any questions, obviously, you can DM me, and catch you later.